Make the Grade podcast, episode 7. Okay, episode 7, starting 3, 2, 1. Good day, everyone. Dr. Stephen Green here, the Success Doctor, welcoming you back to the Make the Grade podcast, your source of actionable skills, actionable ideas that you can use to further your education or your child's education. That is my goal here. I am partially through a series in the most recent episodes, if you've heard them, and hopefully you have, on questions you should ask, actions you can take, mistakes you should avoid in certain situations like test prep, choosing a tutor, classroom management, things like that. So today is an extension of that. And the title of today's podcast is 9 Effective Maximum Education Study Habits. So these are things that you or your child, your student can do in and out of the classroom to maximize their education. Incidentally, this, like most of the Make the Grade podcast, are also available in a PDF and in a video format. So reach out if you would like information about obtaining that. So let's get to it. So 9 effective study habits, 9 effective maximum education study habits. Number 1, consistency. And as usual with these types of discussions, the first one probably could be the only one. It won't be, but it could have been. Consistently. Consistency. Study consistently. Take consistent action. Use successful strategies, consistency. Have a consistent daily action routine. Be consistent in the energy you put into school or life for that matter. So number 1 study habit is consistency. Try to do similar things that create success every day, day in, day out. Number 2, get a system that works for you. You need a system to manage time. You need a system to manage information. You need a system to take notes, to do outlines, to study, to prepare for tests. You need a system to manage what you need to do today, tomorrow, a week from now, things like that. And you need to consistently, like tip number 1, put them into action each day. Make the Grade and Maximum Education teach an excellent system. That will be the topic of episode 12, I believe. I have to check my charting, but it's there. So number 1, be consistent. Number 2, get a system that works for you. Number 3, be organized. Be organized with your notes. Be organized with your study materials. Just some simple suggestions. Date your notes. Color code your notes. Have sections in your notebook for different materials. Put quizzes and tests in one place. Put notes in one place. Put handouts in the third place. Labs in the fourth place. Organize, partly so you can just find it when you need it, partly because it helps to keep the information where the information should be. But be organized with your notes. Number 4, plan out your day. Plan out your day. And this is a time management piece, but you want to do it so you have the appropriate amount of time you need to study and to cover the things you need to cover. Time management is critical. Very, very important. Gauge the amount of work you have, plan ahead, look at short-term responsibilities, look at long-term responsibilities, look at what you have to do, allot the correct amount of time, and make the plan. Number 5 is you have to think short-term, what's going on today, what's due tomorrow, and you got to think long-term. If it is Wednesday and you have homework that's due Thursday, that's short-term. But let's say you have a quiz on Monday. Well, that's longer term. You're going to need to prepare for that maybe that night, Thursday night, Friday night, and over the weekend. Break up your long-term assignments into small daily actions. Much easier, much simpler, and most importantly, much more effective. Number 6, and this was the almost title of podcast number 5, but pay attention in class. Make use of your time in class. Learn from the teacher. Teacher's job is to teach. If you don't listen to the teacher and you don't pay attention in class, you mostly end up having to teach it to yourself, or you have to go to a tutor, or you have to rely on your friends, or some combination of that. So in order to pay attention in class, come to class prepared, be ready to take notes, listen, actively listen, and if need be, ask questions. Number 7, put dates on the handouts and put dates on your notes. I have seen so many times in my caseload of students, people come into the office and they can't find anything. Their notes are disheveled, they're sticking out in all different directions in their notebook, and it's a mess. There's really not a better word to use for it. It's a mess. If you date things and make things chronologically organized, it is so much easier to keep things where they should be, because sometimes you have to take papers out of your notebook in order to use them. So date your notes, put dates on your handout, put dates on everything, and that will help you to organize. Number 8, when you're doing your homework or any work, do it in a place where you're not distracted. Okay? Some of this is obvious. You want a space that's quiet, lit, easy to get your work done, easy to spread out on top of a desk or whatever, what you need, so you're not cramped. But you have to have a study place that's conducive to studying. You want it to be free of distractions. You want it to have the things that you need to succeed. Even 10 or 15 minutes of really focused work is superior to hours of distracted work. Number 9, use your resources. Use what is available to you. And by this, I don't mean the internet, although obviously the internet is a great resource for information, but learning is a long-term process. And it involves your own skills, your internal resources, but also taking advantage of external resources. Sometimes if you're going to need help with something, know where you're going to go to get that help. Plan your time. Understand your technology. Ask questions. Maybe get involved in a study group, or maybe start a study group. Have a tutor ready for when you need help. So if you do get a small problem, you can nip it in the bud before it becomes a large problem. So sometimes you got to line up these resources even before you need them in the situation that you might need them, so you don't have to spend a lot of time searching around. So, right to the point, it's my goal today. Make the Grade Podcast, episode 7, 9, maximum education study habits. Number 1, consistency. Number 2, getting a system that works for you. Number 3, being organized. Number 4, planning out your day. Number 5, thinking short-term and long-term. 6, pay attention in class. 7, put dates on everything. 8, do your work in a place where you're not distracted. 9, use your resources and have your resources ready to go. As I mentioned, this podcast and many, if not all, of the Make the Grade podcasts are also available as PDFs and videos. You can look for them at makethegrade.net. You can also email me at sgreen@makethegrade.net. Please find me or Make the Grade on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I really encourage feedback, questions, comments. It's really, really helpful. It helps me to plan these podcasts and plan things for you that are useful. Remember, the theme here is actionable information. So when you get done listening to this 10 or 15-minute podcast, there's things you can actually, and hopefully many things, you can start to put into place in yours or your students' lives right away. So, Dr. Stevie Green, the Success Doctor, signing off for Make the Grade podcast episode 7. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your feedback. And we will see you with episode 8.